we're really proud to have Harry and Izzy's here. We're very proud to have Hughes Culinary with us, and we're very proud to have SSP, another world-class organization that really represents their brand in an excellent way. And, you know, I had a couple of questions during an interview, and they were asking me a couple of questions, and it's never, and let me phrase this correctly, it's never a bricks and mortars equation. Not that the bricks and mortars don't matter, they matter, but it's always a human equation. And the Hughes Culinary team and the SSP team have the best people in the industry. And I know that because IA has the best staff in the entire industry. We win awards all the time. We've been named the best airport in North America for 11 years in a row. And, thank you. And that goes also for Hughes Culinary and SSP because it's all a collaborative effort. And we haven't won just one J.D. Power Awards. We've won 5 J.D. Power Awards, which is just an amazing streak. And Megan really has assured me that we're going to win a 6th J.D. Power Award. So thank you very much, Megan. So at this point, enjoy the food, have a great time, and I'm going to turn it over to Hughes Culinary.
Thank you, Mario. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm pleased that you're all here to help us celebrate the expansion and grand reopening of Harry and Izzy's at Indianapolis International Airport. You know, we've been serving delicious food and beverage and delighting people at this location since 2008. And we're happy to have this expansion for sure. I know many of you are here to see Cody Miller, Olympic swimmer and champion, and you know, he's overcome tremendous odds and is a shining example of what a world champion is, and we're looking forward to hearing from him. I've had the pleasure of introducing another world champion once before, who's also known for speed, has Hoosier connections, world champion, Joey Chestnut, the competitive food eater. And Joey, you know, is known for eating vast amounts of hot dogs on July 4th and in Coney Island to win the mustard belt. Comparatively, we have Cody Miller, and that's not a fair comparison by any stretch of the imagination. He's trained his entire life to be an Olympic champion, rigorous training, nutrition, all kinds of things to be a world champion, to be an Olympic medalist. He's in far better shape than Joey Chestnut, let me tell you. And Cody, we are so pleased to have you here supporting this, and also to highlight the Olympic swimming and diving championships next June in Indianapolis. I'm exceedingly happy to have this beautiful remodel. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Indianapolis team that put this together, our Harry and Izzy's staff and management led by Amy Weddle. It's been tremendous. Our SSP partner, thank you, Amy. Our SSP partner, led by Bob Stanton, Pat Murray's here as well. Thank you for your partnership. And of course, the Indianapolis Airport Authority, Mario and Marcia and Jason and Dave, the whole team. Thank you for your trust and support in allowing us to reinvest in the Indianapolis Airport. I think we're going to please travelers for many, many years to come. And at this time, I'd like to bring up Chris Gahl from Visit Indy, and then Cody Miller, of course, for a shrimp cocktail and conversation. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. How we doing? That wasn't very hospitable. How we doing? We're celebrating Indy, a ginormous event coming to Indianapolis, an expanding restaurant that's iconic, and an Olympian. So how are we doing this morning? Okay. Thanks for being with us.
I forgot I have to look at you, not them, so I'm going to turn. Thanks for having me, guys. I fly through this airport all the time. It's great.
Talk to us a little bit about your first experience in a swimming pool. Do you remember the first time? Here, you're an Olympian. You make you're a professional swimmer. When was the first time you stepped into a pool?
Yeah, my dad threw me in the water and I didn't know how to swim. And my mom, to this day, doesn't know how to swim. She raised an Olympic swimmer, she doesn't know how to swim. And that's why she put me in swim lessons. And I remember that feeling of drowning, and I was like, oh no, I gotta get better at this. And around 8 years old, that's when I was like, I started loving the water and started doing it year round and having a good time and got a little more confident. So I was also born with a medical condition called pectus excavatum. So if you see me without a shirt on, I've got this weird sunken chest. I've got these very odd ribs that go inward. And from a young age, right around 11, doctors told my mom that swimming would help broaden my chest cavity and really help expand my shoulders, which could ultimately prohibit me from ever needing a surgery. So it was a little bit of a life health thing as well. And fortunately for me, I've got this weird chest, but no major issues, so that's cool. And I became a pretty decent swimmer.
I'd say so. How many hours do you think you have physically stepped into a pool to train? Like if you think about swimming your whole life, how many hours are we talking about?
Most years, 30 hours in the pool a week. That doesn't include the time in the gym, physical therapy, all that stuff. But just in the pool, probably in the neighborhood of 75,000 hours. Yeah.
I'd say you're an expert. You talked a little bit about that adversity, that physical adversity. Tell us a little bit more about that. You had shared with me an experience in which you were next to Michael Phelps and a few others, and your stature in terms of how tall you are and how big you are is a little bit of an anomaly for an Olympian and a professional swimmer.
Yeah, so I was the shortest guy on the United States Olympic swim team. I'm 5'11" and 175 pounds, whereas my teammates and counterpartners are well over 6 feet, and most of them are over 200 pounds. So for the medley relay, for example, when we walked out for the final at the Rio Olympics, when they announce your team and you're walking to your lane, they say Team USA, lane 4. You lock hands with your teammates, and you raise them in the air as they say Team USA, and the crowd goes crazy. Well, to my left is Nathan Adrian, who is about 6'6", and to my right is Michael Phelps, who is 6'4". So we lock arms and raise them up, and they like hoist me into the air, like off the ground, because I'm just, the short guy that's pretty good at breaststroke. So I was certainly the smallest behind the blocks most of my life, and I tell young kids, I'm like, you don't have to be the biggest or the strongest. You just have to be the most efficient and the most disciplined, and I got really lucky with good coaches and good teammates too. So, yeah.
You're an IU grad?
Yes, sir. Go Hoosiers.
Where's your home pool? Like when you say, I'm going to go train, I'm going to be better at my craft, where is your home pool? Is it in your backyard? Is it the natatorium? Where do you go swim when you're training?
The natatorium in Bloomington, Indiana, where the university is, that is my home pool. But the IU natatorium in Indianapolis is also an IU pool, and that is my favorite pool in the world. Fun fact for you all who aren't crazy swim nerds like myself, more world records have been set in that pool in Indianapolis than anywhere else in the world, which makes it the fastest pool in the world. It is the blueprint for all natatoriums that are now built around the world for big meets like world championships. It's awesome. It's also the first time I saw Michael Phelps set a world record in person. I was there, 16 years old, and I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. And then 8 years after I watched Michael break that world record, I was on his career-ending relay, the 4x100 medley relay, and we did pretty good. We took home some gold medals.
Well, speaking of that, my left pocket has something in there. Would you reach in there for me?
Sure. Geez, I wonder what could be in here.
It's very heavy.
So that's the bronze medal. We wanted the gold one first. We blew it, but here it is. So this is my Olympic gold medal. It is 60% real gold. People always ask, is it real gold? And anyone here today that wants to hold it and wear it and take a photo with it, please feel free. I worked a long time to let people be able to have the same experience that I got as a young swimmer. When I was 10 years old, I met a guy named Josh Davis, who was the captain of the 1996-2000 United States Olympic team, multiple world gold medalist. And at 10, he let me wear his gold medal, and it made a huge impact on my life, and I never forgot that feeling. And now, the fact that I have my own gold medal, it still sometimes doesn't feel real, and I love letting people hold it and wear it, and how often you get to hold a gold medal. So after our little chit-chat, feel free to come up and take a hold.
Ebony, in the meantime, will you come up and put on the gold medal
Yeah,
real
please
quick?
do. Please do.
Real quick, let's put on the gold medal.
Yes. Take the photo. See, it's that easy. She's an Olympian now.
2016 Summer Olympics, 4x100 meter relay, gold medal, new Olympic. No, keep it on for the duration. Yep, absolutely. Why don't we put this one on Craig Hughes? Craig,
Yeah,
come
let
on
Craig
over.
come
You
over
get the
here.
bronze. You get the bronze. put that on Craig. Okay.
So this one's actually my favorite because that was the medal that I won to earn the spot on the 4x100 medley relay. And when I won that medal, I was, woo! I set the American record. I was the fastest American in history in the fastest heat of 100 breaststrokers ever. And I celebrated after winning that bronze harder than everybody else in the games. Like, I celebrated like I won the gold medal, and I was dubbed as like the happiest bronze medalist ever. So I'm very, very proud of that one, even though it's getting a little rusty.
So keep those on. We're going to keep going. You can take them off when we're all done. What is it like in all? Thank you. Exit. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ebony. In all sincerity, I can only imagine what it would have been like to be on the podium, to win a gold, and hear the national anthem. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking about? And what were you peering out to see?
Yeah, so that's a pretty wild experience. It's pretty much the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life, aside from getting married and having children. And, you know, Allie, I love you. She's here today. That was better. But still, it was a pretty amazing experience. You know, as the American flag is getting raised and I hear the national anthem, I was crying. And I was having flashes of all these memories of my mom, like when I was 11 years old, like kicking down my door, telling me to get out of bed and go to the pool. I used to fight with her all the time about going to bed on time and showing up to train. And then, you know, I realized, like, she did all that for so many years. She drove me to the pool for so many years on her own, working multiple jobs just to put food on the table and keep me in the pool. And, you know, all of that became real to me, and it was all worth it. And in a way that I can't actually put into words what it feels like to wear that medal and stand on that podium. That I've been very, 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 very lucky to have wonderful people that helped me get there. Yeah, I can't really put it into words, but it's very emotional.
I can sense your emotion even now, and it's real.
Well, I don't talk about that very often, so yeah, it's certainly emotional, especially as I look at people like my father-in-law and my wife. Yeah,
helped you get
love
there.
them very much, yes.
Yeah, that's unique. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, next Thursday, June 15th, marks 1 year out from this city hosting the U.S. Olympic team trials for swimming. Yep, you can clap for that. When you have the #1 airport in North America 11 years running, when you have the oldest sports commission in the nation, the Indiana Sports Corps, when you have spicy shrimp cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And, by the way, Cody rolled up his sleeves, and he did a video for part of the pitch for the city to land this event. He was in his own pool with goggles on, and he talked about this event coming up in terms of being a Super Bowl-esque event. Why did you say that?
Yeah, it's huge because, first of all, it's going to be the largest swim meet in history. There's never been a meet where there's been 30,000 plus live fans in front of a pool. They're making history building 2 50-meter Olympic pools on the Lucas Oil Stadium football field. It's going to be real. You know, it's quite the spectacle. And on top of that, Indiana is a swim crazy state. Obviously, we're known for basketball. We've got the Colts. We've got lots of amazing sports here with the Indy 500. But what you might not know is that there are more long course 50-meter pools, more Olympic pools in the state than anywhere else in the world. And 75% of USA Swimming's membership base, so families with kids that are involved in the swimming world, are within an 8-hour drive of our city. And so there is a rich swimming history in this area. And like I said, it's the biggest spectacle in our sport. And you can ask any one of my friends and teammates, fellow Olympians, if you ask them what's the most fun swimming experience, they will tell you Olympic trials, because the pressure and the prestige of competing at that event for a spot on the team is much greater than actually going to the games. Because by the time Team USA assembles and then they go to the games, we have been through the gauntlet of competing at the hardest meet possible, which is just making a spot on the team. Because if you earn a spot on the US team, you're automatically a medal contender. If you earn a spot to compete for the United States, you're looked at as, okay, you are the best. You're one of the best. And so it is, as I say, the Super Bowl of our sport. It's the biggest spectacle. It's the greatest show. And I am psyched, like really, really excited to compete at it next year. It's going to be great.
It's wild to think about Lucas. How many people have been to Lucas Oil Stadium? Colts games, Final Fours, college football playoff, national championship, and there are going to be pools with great sight lines for 9 days, and a lot of people, the attention globally on Indianapolis, Indiana again. We'll be fortunate to host that. Will you spend the night at home or downtown in a hotel?
Oh, I'm definitely going to stay at a hotel, try to stay in meet mentality, meet mode, you know, treat it like an away meet. You know, I've got 2 young kids, so staying at home, love them, but staying at home the night before, trying to make an Olympic team with kids, maybe not the best idea.
Let's talk a little bit about when you're actually swimming. So you'll be in Lucas Oil Stadium. You're going to dive in. When you're swimming, can you hear the crowd? Do you have earplugs in? Are you, like, when you come up, are you able to hear noise other than the water?
That's a great question. It depends on the stroke. Most of the time, the answer to that is yes. So I'm a breaststroker, so I do the frog stroke. I do the weird thing with my legs. I kick like a frog. And so I come out of the water, take a breath, and then I submerge underwater, and I kick forward. And when I come out of the water, you can hear the roar of the crowd because you're out of the water for about half a second at a time, and you absolutely can hear it. And I was telling you a little earlier, when I'm swimming a 200-meter race, which is 4 laps down, up and down the pool, especially on that last lap, if I'm under American record or world record pace, I hear the crowd. Like, you can feel the energy. You get that adrenaline, that surge feeling. Like, when you know that people are watching on the Jumbotron and you're ahead of that yellow line, that world record marker, you hear that energy, and it's really fun. It's cool.
That would be amazing. That would drive you. You would
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, the crowd makes a big difference. It does.
Goggles. I think about my kids, and we got this bucket of goggles, and goggles are probably pretty important. How much do goggles cost an Olympian, and are they polarized, and where do you get them, and how important are they?
So this is a big talking point in our little world because
you wear contacts?
I'm wearing contacts now, and I race with contacts.
Are you worried they'll come out?
Nah, not really, because I've got it down. I mean, every once in a while you might have a little leak, but goggles are not cheap. Fortunately, I'm very lucky, and perks of being an Olympian, you get them for free. So that's nice. I like to wear goggles that are tinted, that are mirrored, so you can't see my eyes. One thing I hate, especially in training, is when I have a friend who's wearing goggles that are not mirrored, so I can see their little pee-pee eyeballs just poking out, and you push off underwater and someone's looking at you. It's real weird, man. So I prefer them to be mirrored because they look cool and they make me feel confident. People don't know where I'm looking.
What about the race suit? We were talking a little bit about the actual, the racing suit. Those are hard to get on, hard to get off, and also make you faster. They're legal. Are they full suit? Are they like half suits? What is that?
Yeah, so the suit, it does take like 20 minutes to get on. It's really, really tight. I recommend everyone try once just so that you have a fundamental understanding of what we go through. It's not easy. And quick little story, I have ripped one of those suits before. At the 2012 Olympic trials, I walked out for the final of the 200 breaststroke. This is live on NBC. There's millions of people around the United States watching. There's 16,000 people in the arena. And I'm walking out to my lane, and I see my face on the Jumbotron, and I think, okay, just focus on my race. I got this. And right before the starter blows the whistle to step up on the block, I take one last squat. I do lots of squats before my race as a breaststroker. I take one last squat, and the back of my suit explodes. And I don't mean like a little rip, like a little hole, like a little tear in the seam. No. My whole butt was exposed for the world to see. And I froze. I was like, oh. And I look to my right, and I see a big, giant cameraman from NBC sprinting towards me. And then behind him is a lady with a headset sprinting towards me. And the official to my right, this sweet elderly lady, is looking at me, and she goes, oh, no. And they had to hold up the meet. And anyway, that was the craziest experience of my life.
I would say so. I'm looking at your wife, Allie, who's doing this. Allie, will you stand up, please?
Hi, yay.
You and Allie have Axel and Cato.
Yep.
1 and 2. 2 sons.
That's right.
Where will they be watching you when you're swimming inside Lucas Oil Stadium? And do they swim, your sons?
Well, they play in the pool. They don't really swim yet, but yeah, they're gonna come. The fam's gonna come to the meet. They're gonna have good. I'll make sure they get good seats, and it's a pretty cool experience for a little youngster,
Good. Thank you for being here. Okay, this airport, 11 years running, #1 airport in North America. That's a big deal. And you think about your travels. Do you carry on? Are you a last-minute packer? What are your essentials when you travel? And by the way, the medals, like when you travel with your medals, are they friendly here in getting you through checkpoint?
Yeah, so I'm not a last-minute packer. I travel so often that I just have a suitcase that's pretty much prepared at all times. Obviously, swim cap, goggles, iPad, typical stuff. And a lot of times I travel with my medals when I go do speaking events and go do swim clinics and whatnot. And pretty much 100% of the time I get stopped at security because they're just really heavy chunks of metal that they can't see through at TSA. So I get to, show the TSA agents my medals. almost once a month here. But they're very friendly, and it is very quick. And I do feel extremely lucky to live here because I do travel and fly legitimately all over the country. In the last week, I've been on both coasts, and this is the quickest, most efficient airport, and I love traveling through here. Crazy lucky.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have this and being so efficient and so friendly and to have local cuisine and public art that is meaningful. It's our front door. It's our last goodbye for our visitors, and residents get the benefit of having that ease. I don't think it's not until we travel to another airport we realize just how easy and convenient and nice that we have it here. Where's your next travel? Where are you going next? Where will you be back here for?
Well, so my next competition actually is in 4 weeks, and that's here at the IU Natatorium, the pool that I told you is awesome and has all those world records to it. We're selecting a bunch of international teams like world championships in a few weeks, and then after that, I think Allie and I are going to go on a vacation, and we haven't decided where we're going to go yet, but we're going to go somewhere cool.
Just you two or with the kids?
Oh, that's a good question. We're going to have to talk about that.
Now, your in-laws are here. That could be an obvious point. I want to bring up the first time, we all remember the first time we tasted that fiery shrimp cocktail, okay? For instance, I was 8, and my uncle took me, and I remember diving in and just having that experience. And it was memorable for many reasons, but especially it's like this bonding experience. You shared with me the first time you had the fiery shrimp cocktail. Give us a scoop.
Yeah, so this was 9 years ago, and I had just started dating my now wife, Allie. And we were at dinner with her parents, Chuck and Kathy, who are here today too. And I was like, yeah, I like spicy food. It's good. And Chuck's like, well, you have to eat this shrimp cocktail, and you have to have a good, healthy dose of that cocktail sauce. And I thought, oh, this will be great. Like, I like cocktail sauce. Like, I don't have an issue with it.
So the time this is your girlfriend's dad.
Totally, yeah. And he's testing me. You know, he's looking at me like, well, let's see how this guy handles it. And I ate it, and it was like a kick to the face. I was like, oh, I had so much. And Chuck laughed so hard. And right then and there, I think we were cool. It was like, all right, he can take it.
You
he can handle
passed
it.
the test.
Yeah, and it was at Harry and Izzy's downtown. It was lovely.
You weren't sure about him, but after that, you thought he passed the test. That's a great story.
Yeah, I never forgot that first bite. You're right. That's real. It's real.
I think about food and the importance of food, and here we are celebrating an expanded menu, an expanded facility. And as an Olympian, as an athlete, what do you eat before you jump in the pool to go swimming for something like the U.S. Olympic team trials? Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it caffeinated? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this is probably the thing I get asked the most. On race days, I eat really, really light. Lots of like something like an oatmeal. I like Cheerios, dried fruit. I love dried mangoes. It's more like snacking. On race days, I never want to feel full. I just always want to make sure I'm nourished. So like I'm constantly snacking. In training, it's not so much what I choose to eat, it's the things that I don't eat. It's making those sacrifices of choosing the right things, not the wrong things. So, you know, I don't do sodas. I very rarely drink alcohol. We don't eat junk food. We don't eat fast food. I'm not having ice cream. It's, you know, especially when I'm talking to young kids, like, how do I make it as a young athlete and get better? I'm like, well, you just have to make good decisions. And the best athletes in the world, people like the Michael Phelpses, they have extreme discipline throughout their week, right? So they don't deviate from their nutritional plan. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have a salad every night and I'm not gonna be eating candy. And sometimes it's tough. You go home and you're like, man, I'd really love to have a Coke right now, but I don't need all that sugar. It's just discipline over time. And I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes I'm like, let's just throw this out the window. But yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. You've got some nice hair. And I'm wondering, you're in the pool a lot. There's a lot of chlorine. How do you condition your hair? Do you worry about it, like, as a swimmer?
Yeah, swimmers, especially male swimmers, are known for having like bleach blonde hair because pool water is in most places is rough. For me, obviously I wear a swim cap, and then I make sure to at least rinse my hair out after I train every day, and that's how you avoid that nasty. There's no secret here. It's just a little bit of maintenance, like a little bit of conditioner. I don't have any secrets here. But yeah, when I was younger and I had shorter hair and I didn't wear a cap, I had like bleach blonde hair. And that's because I didn't rinse my hair out and I didn't wear a swim cap. And the chlorine absolutely killed it.
A few more questions, and then we're going to wrap up, and you get a chance to see Cody and say hello to Olympian and celebrate this today. You got a tattoo. I just saw a tattoo.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is the only tattoo that I have and have ever wanted to get. It's the Olympic rings. It's kind of become a staple for specifically the men's team, although most of the women get it as well. If you make the United States team, pretty much everyone gets the tattoo. It's the only tattoo I ever wanted, and it's the only tattoo my mom ever said, you absolutely can get that. And after the Olympics, my mom went with me to the Hard Rock in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is where I grew up. And we went to the Hart and Huntington Tattoo Parlor, which was the very first tattoo shop to ever open up on the Las Vegas Strip. And I got the tattoo there, which was quite the experience. My mom was looking at me like, I can't believe this is happening.
That's a great story. Do you listen to music to get hyped up?
Yeah.
A lot of times we see athletes, they're coming into an arena, they're coming into a stadium, they got their headphones on, and they're in the zone. Is that part of your routine?
Yeah, most of my life I would have earbuds in, and I don't want to listen to anything, and I'm listening to, some rock and roll, some 80s rock. I love myself some AC/DC. Nowadays, I'm like a little more laid back. Maybe it's because I'm older, but I'm just like kind of soaking in the moment. I don't need the music to get me going anymore. But when I was younger, I was like, I was the guy. Don't talk to me. I was real serious. So, yeah, that's kind of a common thing.
Binge watching TV. What's the last thing you binge watched on TV?
Wednesday, the Addams Family show on Netflix. It was really cute. Allie watched it first. She was like, you have to watch this. So then we rewatched it.
Last question. Why do you love Indianapolis, Indiana?
I love this place because it has become my home in so many different ways. Number one, obviously, I have a lovely wife and a lovely family that live here. Number two, the people. I grew up in a very large city where it was very transient, lots of tourism, and people weren't always the friendliest. Here, it doesn't matter where I go in this state, people are always friendly to me, and they don't know I'm an Olympian, so they're not just being nice to be nice. And also, the love of the sports and the swimming. Like I said, this is a rich swimming state. They love their basketball, they love their Colts, and I love the pride and the sense of community that everyone has. And I never felt that growing up. Not that I don't love Las Vegas. Don't get me wrong, I love going there and having fun too. But when I come home, when I fly home from a long event or a big competition, and I walk through this airport, I just get that sense of, I feel home again. And yeah, I don't know how else to put that in words, but it's very lovely here. That's why I still live here. I never thought when I was younger that I would live in a place that has snow most of my life, but here I am. We're good now. It's great.
Hey, let's have a shrimp cocktail real quick.
Dude, those are dosed up. Look at that. You can't see this, but I can't see the shrimp. I just see the sauce. All right, I'll do it. Okay, I will. You ready? Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. I have way more than you, dude. Come on.
Fair.
Okay. All right. Fair. About to see some waterworks.
That got me.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Olympian, Indianapolis booster, shrimp cocktail.
Nailed
Let's hear it up for Cody. Cody.
Thank you. Woo.
That did get me.
You took that like a pro.
That was intense. Okay, to wrap us up, we're very happy that Pat Murray is here, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of SSP America. They operate in airports globally. And Pat, will you come up and share some final words with us? Pat?
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Hey,
Cody.
thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I don't have to do the shrimp cocktail first, right? Okay, good. So I'm just going to say, hey, guys, don't run away. 1 second. It's on everybody's mind here. That was informative, interesting, Cody, for you, inspirational, and, mostly entertaining. You come to public events like this, you don't always get that kind of stuff, so that was super cool, and really appreciate you guys for doing that. Let me just be a geek for a second. I am the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of SSP. We're a global operator of restaurants and airports around the world. We operate more than 2,000 restaurants. And so there's a few of those things that are kind of cool to us. So for a second, just imagine I got that white spiked hair and I'm Guy Fieri for a second, all right? So coming up this fall, we'll celebrate 15 years here of Harry and Izzy's at the Indianapolis Airport. Awful lot of people to thank for that. We want to thank all of the staff, namely Mario Rodriguez, Marcia Stone, David, Jason, Bill, Carly, thank you for all the help with all the things and putting on the events and so on. A lot of people at SSP, Bob, Lamont, Ahmed, Lana Kramer, thank you very much for all the help and organizing things. We have a lot of partners involved in our business, Craig Hughes being one of the oldest ones, Aaron Humphrey sitting here in the front row. It takes a village to put these things together, but let me just get to the point here. There's a couple of interesting things about a restaurant, right? So when I look out in the audience, I remember Chris Clifford. He, like me, aged a few years in these last 15 years. When you're successful in the restaurant business, you get a destination restaurant. We all seek to get that kind of name. You know, Craig and his father had the luxury of running one of the world-famous restaurants in St. Elmo's. And building something here at the airport, it's kind of one of those risks. You got to see how this is going to work. It's got to take a lot of love. You got to keep feeding it. When I was answering the questions, Mario, that you were referring to earlier, one of the things they asked me was, well, why the renovation, right? So for everyone that's been to the airport before, the restaurant used to end over here. By the way, if you realize, like, the passengers go there, right? So this is the natural destination restaurant in an airport. It actually didn't naturally fit in the flow of traffic for people. And if you fast forward a few years after it being built, we had another media outlet, the USA Today, started these national awards that went around the country. And I remember, you know, one day Craig gives me a call and he says, hey, you know, we actually got nominated for this award with USA Today, and we got to get everyone to vote. And you're thinking, you got to vote. Like, some of the restaurants are best restaurant in an airport. They're in New York City, they're in Chicago, they're in Dallas, they're in, you know, much larger cities and we're at much larger airports. Nonetheless, you know, Harry and Izzy's was recognized as best restaurant in the country in airports, and I think in 2014 or 2015. You know, the years just kind of go by. Anyway, the reason for the expansion is literally because of its vast success. Everybody who's been in the restaurant business looks and lives for those days. It's just a fantastic experience. I can say for us at SSP, we were a very small U.S. business when it first entertained things with Craig. And we have a partnership. Many restaurants that operate in airports, we license the name from them. So essentially, the backbone of the restaurant is run by SSP. Harry and Izzy is a very different business operation here. We're literally 50-50 partners, and our two organizations have done very well over the years together. And considering we survived the economic downturn, and then we survived the pandemic together, it's a really emotional day for us. I know it is for Craig, too, to see all the success we've had. So super excited, guys. I have two last things that I was directed to do before I leave. Make sure that everyone continues to eat after this. So great food. You're supposed to have, every single person, you're supposed to have at least 2 shrimp, and you have to have Cody verify that you have enough sauce on the shrimp. And then we have a little contest afterwards. Anyone would like pictures, you can either have a picture with Craig, with me, with Mario, or with Cody, okay? So, but guys, seriously, thank you very much. Appreciate everyone for coming, and you guys were fantastic. Thank you.